Time to enter the Matrix. Reloaded. Back everybody, Matt the Brat here. Hope you're doing well. So this week was the 20th anniversary of The Matrix Reloaded, the sequel to the original Matrix movie. 4 years later, after the original came out, I saw this movie theater in May of 2003. I was so excited. The Matrix at that time became one of my favorite movies of all time, the original. And I was so excited to see the sequel. I remember I brought my friend Foster with me and my friend Billy at the time and my dad. We all went and saw it that opening weekend. And I have to say right here, right now, I think this is one of the most underrated sequels of all time. I think this is actually a pretty great sequel. I know it gets a lot of baggage because it's lumped with The Matrix Revolutions that came out later that year in November. But I think The Matrix Reloaded is highly underrated. I think it's a pretty awesome sequel. No, it's still not better than the original. Nothing will beat the original Matrix because that was just something that we've never seen before. And even by the time that we got to The Matrix Reloaded, so many movies trying to copy that movie from Equilibrium to The One. Then you had all those movies trying to spoof it, like The Mummy Returns had a scene, Shrek 2, all the above. So yes, by the time The Matrix Reloaded, we felt like, oh, we've seen this so many times now. We've been there, we've done that. But I love how this movie kind of expands on the world of The Matrix. You know, we see like the Keymaster, the Keymaker, the Merovingian, the Frenchman. We see the world of Zion in this movie, which we never saw in the original. You know, we see more of Neo's powers and what he can do. And I think this movie has some great things in it. Number one, the action. The action in this movie is still top notch. You go to the fight scene with Mr. Smith. Me. When we first are reintroduced to Mr. Smith, and it's all that brawl of all these Mr. Smiths all together fighting Neo. I mean, yes, the CGI hasn't aged well, but at the time, it was something like we were all like, who can forget that car, that 18-minute car chase on the freeway. I mean, that was something that I remember watching behind the scenes videos that they had on like E! News, Entertainment Tonight, E! News channel, or on ABC, showing the behind the scenes of making that that freeway chase. It is still unbelievable what they were able to do in that sequence. That I still think is one of the best freeway car chases ever put on screen. Then you go into the music. The music for The Matrix Reloaded is some of the best music in the franchise. Whether it's during the brawl with the Mr. Smiths, that music, or the one where he's in that like weird palace, and he's fighting all those other Merovingian mercenaries, or his henchmen. That entire fight sequence is amazing. But then you add that music on top of that, and it's a great piece of music. And then we get to like the third act with them going with the Keymaker and trying to get into the building that unlock this and that. And they gotta deal with the twins. And you get to that finale with, once they're out of the Matrix and Neo puts his hand up and all those, robots, octopus looking things, the Sentinels, come at him and he just puts his hand up and he stops them all. And he's not in the Matrix. He's out of the Matrix. I still remember that going, Oh my god. And then we get to that final scene with both Neo and the guy who, Bane, who, Mr. Smith took over his body. And it leaves you on a cliffhanger like, what does this mean? And that made me like, I can't wait to see the third one. Luckily, we only had to wait 6 months. But this, and you know, I think you still got Morpheus, you still got Trinity, I think you got the Oracle. That was the actress's last film before she passed away, before they were able to go into making the third one. You got, him being Superman, him actually taking a bullet out of Trinity. I think the whole the visually, the movie looked great. I know a lot of people complain about the orgy rave scene in Zion for like 20 minutes. Yes, that is one part they could have, cut down a little bit. But overall, I think this movie, like I said, is a great sequel. Character that only has a very brief, but probably the most important scene in the entire movie is the architect. That, yes, back in 2003, we all made fun of, even on the MTV Movie Awards, where they got Will Ferrell, and they made him look like Colonel Sanders, KFC. Yes, that was always the joke of 2003. It's Colonel Sanders in The Matrix. But, on a more serious note, that dialogue that he has with Neo is probably the most important dialogue in the entire franchise. And at the time, I was a young kid, only in, 8th grade? 7th grade, when The Matrix Reloaded came out. 8th grade when The Matrix Revolution came out. But at that time, I was young, I didn't, I'm like, why is all this dialogue, all this exposition? I'm like, okay, can we get back to the action? But getting older, that scene has become one of my favorite scenes in the movie, because it really makes you think. When you think of this big action movie like The Matrix, and it wouldn't make you really, like the first one did make you think a lot. But this one, there was so much action throughout the movie that when you get to this one scene where it's just two people talking, and there's a lot of exposition going on, a lot of information, a lot of important information that, even before The Matrix Resurrections came out at the end of 2021, I thought that this scene in The Matrix Reloaded was going to tie into that movie with, the architect talking about predecessors and the ones back before you, and there'll be more after you. That part about after you, I thought that was going to tie into The Matrix Resurrections. It kind of did, kind of really didn't. But for a very important scene, I think this was one of the better scenes in the entire movie. This movie we had Ghost, or as I like to call them, the twins. You had Seraph, you had the Merovingian, you had Naomi, Jada Pinkett Smith. Sorry, Will. Jada beat you to The Matrix. You turned it down in the original. And like I said, this movie had a lot of new characters, a lot of interesting characters, and the architect was one of them. No, it's not as good as the original, but how many movies really are better than the original? A few. But I think to expand the world of The Matrix, to have Keanu Reeves, Carrie-Anne Moss, Lawrence Fishburne, Hugo Weaving return. I mean, this was a great year for Hugo Weaving, if people remember. He had The Matrix Reloaded, he had The Matrix Revolutions, and he had The Lord of the Rings: The Return of the King, the final film in the Lord of the Rings trilogy, all in the same year. I mean, it wasn't bad to be Hugo Weaving in 2003. All he had to do was show up in like Pirates of the Caribbean, and he would have been like a trifecta. Um, but yeah, I think this movie is very underrated. I think people try to group this with the Matrix Revolutions, and even though there is stuff in the Matrix Revolution that I enjoy, but I still think it's leaps and bounds better than the last two Matrix movies we've gotten, Revolutions and Resurrections. Oh my God, Resurrections! Don't even get me started on that one. Um, but have you watched The Matrix Reloaded lately? Are you planning on watching it this week for its 20th anniversary? Can't believe it's been 20 years since the second Matrix movie, but it is. I think this is a great sequel. Great action scenes, great choreography in those action scenes. The music, great. Acting wise, still great, even 4 years later after the original. That freeway car chase, still one of the best freeway car chases ever on screen. I just thought the fight choreography in that palace looking thing in the middle of nowhere, great. Some new characters I enjoyed, like the Merovingian, and who could forget Monica Bellucci in those scenes. Hot. Um, like I said, the Keymaker, the twins, uh, and I think Mr. Smith's return was also a brilliant idea. Me, me, me. These glasses, these are the actual Neo Matrix glasses from the 2003 Matrix Reloaded. So these are the real deal, people. These are Neo's glasses. So yeah, let me know. Are you a fan of The Matrix Reloaded? Do you plan on watching this movie again for the 20th anniversary this week? And let me know. Let me know your thoughts. Matt the Bat here.